Can you see the person that's trying to join now?
Yes.
Okay, very good. All right. Good evening, everyone. I want to believe we had a lovely weekend and the Sunday has been fine. I don't want to take too much of our time today. I want to share an overview of what we want to achieve with the Property Investment Club via this webinar. I'll also show us the places in the UK where real estate is actually making sense based on research that has already been done by global bodies that are resident in the United Kingdom. So that's the overview of the webinar today. And so let us kickstart this webinar today. So for starters, I want to give a kind of dynamics and introduction on what this whole initiative is all about. Statistics have shown that migrants, especially those who are Black, rarely scratch it when it comes to investment in the United Kingdom. And it is because of the fact that we have not leveraged on the power of collaboration. And so the Property Investment Club is being set up because we want to leverage on the collaborative effort of everyone so that we can achieve more in a shorter time than if we were to do it on ourselves. You know, there is an African adage that says that if you want to go far, go alone, or if you want to go far, go with a team. And so that's what the whole concept is all about. We want to leverage on our collaborative effort. And so the Property Investment Club is a collaborative investment cooperative with a vision to achieve financial freedom for its members within 5 years. Anything that does not have a deadline or a milestone or something that you're working towards to is actually a dream, is not going to be a reality. So we are focusing on the first 5 years of concerted strategic efforts at ensuring that everyone in the club becomes financially free. In the United Kingdom, we see that if you're not careful, right, you'll just see that you'll be toiling as if you're in the washing machine. And I, for one, have decided that that cycle has to be broken within the Black community. And so that's what this thing is all about. And it's all about pulling resources together, you know, just like we people do in Nigeria. And even other African countries do it. Kenyans, South Africans, Namibians, several people leverage on that. Even the Asians are the biggest players in this pulling resources together. And that's why you see that most Asians have taken over big cities in this nation. And so we want to pull resources together, right, by focusing on acquiring, refurbishing, refinancing, and renting out below market value or rundown properties across the United Kingdom. The aim is to build a diversified portfolio of profitable properties, profit-yielding properties that will generate substantial monthly income for all members. Now,
cut off the green things.
as you're coming in, kindly mute. Kindly mute as you're coming in. Thank you very much. So we see, let me just quickly say something. Some people will know this, but in case some people don't know, let's just quickly do some clear definition. When we talk about refurbishing, is to repair, upgrade, add more value to something. So in this case, you'll be refurbishing a property to make it have added value. in those days when somebody gets a ride, they will say that you want to pimp the ride. So it's like pimping the house to become something that is really attractive and it increases the value of that property. So when the value of the property is increased, then it becomes a candidate for refinancing. In this case, refinancing means that you now go to a financial institution or a lender or a bank, right? And what they do is that they will now value, they will send their valuers to go and check the value of the house. And the house will now have a new value because it was below market value before, is now upgraded. So when they now revalue it, refinancing means that the bank will now give you a mortgage valuation based on the new value of the property. And so when you do that, especially when you buy the property cash down, it will make more sense. Rather than buy the property on mortgage, you buy the property cash down, you increase the value, then you now refinance. And when you do that, it makes it automatic for you to draw your cash out. So we'll give you the dynamics of how that works as we progress in this presentation. So for vision, something that does not have a vision is just being aimless. So the vision is very clear. We want to aim to build a portfolio of profit yielding properties across the United Kingdom. It's not going to be in a particular place. It's going to be across the United Kingdom, different cities that have been vetted and confirmed as yielding cities to invest. And the goal is financial freedom for all members within 5 years. So like I did in the very first webinar that I invited people to for this before we formed the property investment club, I asked everybody in that, I don't know if you have gone to watch it on YouTube. I asked everybody on the call that day. I said that if you were to add 5 or 10 years, right, to your age at the moment, please mute as you're coming in. Thank you. Mute your mic as you're coming in.
Very well.
So, Mr. Anthony, kindly mute, please. Okay, let me see. So, as I was saying, can you hear me? If you can hear me, just raise your hands. Is everybody hearing me?
Yes.
All right, very good. So as I was saying, I told everybody to add 5 or 10 years to their age at the moment. That what will they be in 5 years' time, or what will they be in 10 years' time? And if they are doing what they are doing now, will they be financially free? The room was silent on that day. That is what they call reality check. So if you continue, they say that it is insanity for you to continue to do the same thing over time and expect a different result. It's not possible. It's called insanity. So you don't want to continue to do something that is not going to lead you to financial freedom. That is why the goal of the Property Investment Club is to make everybody financially free. And when you talk about financial freedom is not when you become a billionaire or a millionaire. Financial freedom is when what you're earning passively, becomes more than what you are earning by working. What you are earning passively becomes more than what you are earning by working. So for example, let's say you're employed now and you're getting maybe about £2,000, right? And you now start doing something that starts bringing some trickles in, maybe from 500 to 1,000 to 1,500, and it now grows to 3,500. And you're not using too much effort. That thing has made you financially free because it has replaced what you're working for. So the goal of the Property Investment Club is to make every member financially free, right? Through different strategies that we employ as we go on. So we're pulling resources together to buy, refurbish, refinance, rent out below market value, or rundown properties. There are properties that are called rundown. It means that they have run down. Those are the properties you will see on auction. They usually go on auction. Rundown properties are properties that, for example, there is a motivated seller. So that means, for example, you see it was 100,000 before, they now dropped it to 85 or they dropped it to 80. It means that the person wants to sell it because he needs money. And that is below the value of 100,000. That is the BMV. So those are the quick terms there. Okay. So what are the key objectives of the Property Investment Club? Now, the minimum passive income that we are targeting is £2,500 per person. That is a target. Now, let me make this one clear. That doesn't mean that that is what we're looking at. That is the minimum. So, for example, anywhere that anybody is in the UK at the moment, whether you are living in London, where they usually say that London waiting, if you have passive income of 2,500 coming to you in London, you are in a good place. Is anybody from down south on this call who can help me by confirming that? If you are earning 1,500 and it is from something you are not working for, can you show your hand that, yes, you're in a good place if you have that? Because London is the yardstick for the cost of living being high. Is anybody from down south on the call? You can unmute. Hello, anyone on this call who is from down south? Maybe close to London, maybe 2 hours, 3 hours from London. Are we here?
Kent.
Okay. So what is your take?
Sorry, sir. Can you repeat the question? I was a bit distracted.
Yeah, I said that if you are to be earning £2,500 without working for it down south, are you in a good place?
Yeah, so.
Okay. So the yardstick that we used here is the London waiting. So not to talk of if you now moving up. So it makes more sense. So that's the minimum that we're targeting. And we want to leverage on collective capital, right? And expertise to maximize the returns on what we'll be investing on. Now, like I said in the vision is have a goalpost of 5 years. In that 5 years, what we are trying to do is to build a portfolio. When you say portfolio, that means we're going to acquire properties that is going to be, the target is 500. The target is 500 properties. Now, if you have a group that has the control of 500 properties, then you know that they have a lot of weight that they can control. We can now, at this level, re-envision our goal to now say that we're not going to be acquiring anymore. We're now going to be going into building real estate or big commercial property investment. So we take it step by step. This fourth tranche is to have a 5-year goal to acquire close to 500. That is the target. And we're going to be engaging a lot of professional people into this thing because it is 2, 3, 4, 5, many good heads that are better than one. So we're going to ensure efficient management and operations by engaging experts within this space to ensure that everyone's input and investment is used judiciously towards achieving the goal of financial freedom. And want to foster a strong community spirit through regular updates. And as we can see on the platform, we're going to be updating everyone. As time goes on, we may be migrating to a platform that will be driven by technology more than WhatsApp. But for now, we make use of what we have. Quickly, let's move on because of time. Now, how does this work, right? There is you joining on the WhatsApp platform at the moment. We have 36 people that have joined the platform, which is very encouraging. Within few weeks of setting up the property investment club, it shows that a lot of people understand the need to have this kind of platform. And like I said earlier, we're going to be identifying below market value across those cities where it has been confirmed that it's very good to invest in those places. And how will the earnings, or so to call it, dividend, will be shared? It will be on a monthly basis based on some dynamics. One, what is earned, what is taken out, and what we agree as a group that should be reinvested. Because in every enterprise, right, if you don't put in back into that investment, it doesn't grow. It's like somebody who has a seed and is eating that seed. You have to put the seed back so that it will grow and expand. That is the law of growth. And so we're going to be giving a bit and putting something back, which is clear, which will be clear to everybody without any ambiguity anywhere. And why is it that we want to choose property investment? It is confirmed all over the world. Wealthy invest in property. Till today, Bill Gates is still buying land, right? Warren Buffett, they are still acquiring land because that is the surest, right? It does not go anywhere. The truth of the matter is this: if you have a property, whether it is land or um, building, as it were in the United Kingdom, whether the market goes up or goes down, right? The cycle will still go back up again, right? So your property value still remains. Property value may go up, may go down, but rent remains constant. Whatever anybody is paying on it remains constant. In this country, for those who have been here for 2, 3, 4 years, have you ever seen something go down really? You will notice that it doesn't go down. So rent does not go down. That's the funny thing, is either it stays or it goes up, but it doesn't go down. For example, myself, right? Coming in 2020, the rent was pegged during COVID. But after COVID, the landlord has increased the rent twice. He increased it last year, increased it this year, the same house. So whether the value of the house goes down or not, the rent will still be going based on inflation, based on market dynamics, based on economy. So you can never go wrong with property. And that is a big deal there. So what is our strategy? Our strategy is simple. We're going to identify those below market value, refurbish them, refinance, and rent out. We're going to rent out based on a couple of models. The first one is either we do the one that is the HMO, right? Multiple occupancy, house with multiple occupancy model, or we do to agencies, right? There are different agencies that can take the whole property, councils can take it as a whole, or you can decide that you want to rent it out to a family. Depending on the one that pays us in the city where we're identifying, we can never go wrong, we can never lose. The minimum in this value chain is renting to a person or to a family taking the whole building. But the most profitable is when you have HMO model or fractional HMO, which is like 2 bedroom where you have two people there paying for one room, paying for one room, and so many other things like that. So that's the concept. And so that is our goal there. So let me now move quickly to the detailed plan. I will give room for questions as we go on. I want to stay within the 1 hour that we have for today. So the detailed plan, because I said that is a 5-year something. Within this first year, we want to establish the cooperative structure and the governance structure so that everything is clear to everyone, right? When it comes to funds, when it comes to managing people resources, you want to put a legal framework there so that there is no ambiguity, there is no where is the money, or what was done. We're going to be following the structure that is within the system, okay? And so we pull initial member contributions, identify and acquire the first batch of below market value properties, and begin refurbishment. Now, someone will ask that, how do you refurbish? Yeah, there are handymen. There are many people that do this thing depending on the city that you're in. And we also have, in the course of being in this country, I've also developed partnership with some people who are specialists in doing refurbishment for investors. So in this case, as Property Investment Club, will be classified as an investor in a property to be refurbished. Okay, so in terms of refurbishment, we'll make everything clear to everyone and we'll see how it will be done. So this is the first year plan. The second year plan is to see how we can expand and continue to acquire more. So the more we refinance, I will explain how we're going to refinance shortly. The more we refinance, we get the same fund that we use to acquire one and use it for another. So it's like the money is going to be used severally across board. Yeah. So we'll be getting, let's say, for example, you have 100K cash, right? And you use it for a particular property. By the time you refinance, that 100K is out. You get it out, you go and put it another one. And that's how the rinsing goes on. So you can use you can use the same fund for several opportunities. And just the keep thing goes on like that. So it gives people an opportunity to actually be stakeholders or shareholders, as it were, in different portfolios. That's the way this is going to be. So we're going to see how we can optimize rental income by employing the best strategies that will be in the interest of everyone whose funds or whose investment is already there. So I believe that by the second year, we should start seeing the first returns because at least we'll be stabilizing by that time. And going to the third year, right, we'll have a situation where we can now leverage, right? Leverage equity from refurbished properties to acquire more properties. For example, by the time you get a property in year one, by year three, possibly that property has increased in value by 5,000 or 10,000 or 15 or something like that. In addition to the fact that you have gotten the money out, you can still get equity from that property by saying that, okay, you want to refinance the property because, for example, me, where I'm living now, this is like over 3 years that I've been living here, and I've had to pay 3 different rents in the course of 3 years. So what that simply means is that if, for example, the property you acquired in year one, let's say the property becomes 100 and it's increased in value by 15,000, it now becomes 115. You can go back to the bank after 3 years and say that you want to refinance the property. The bank will now place the new value of 115 and put the mortgage on 115. The 15,000 difference, because you are taking a loan of 115,000, that 15,000 is not taxed. It is tax-free. The bank gives you that markup and you take that 15 out as equity. We can now add it to something and grow like that. So it helps us to increase the number of properties in the portfolio. And that will help us to increase the rental income. And by the fourth year, what we're trying to see is to diversify and become more stabilized as a group, diversify property types by different locations. It will give us the leverage to actually take on bigger stuff, and we can stabilize our portfolio. We can now decide that, okay, we want to do commercial property because the truth is commercial property actually gives more returns than residential. Commercial property has a lot of benefits. So the details on that one can be gotten later, but I can tell you that it has more revenue. And so by this time, we believe that we'll be close to the target of 500. Okay. And we'll now be able to see that, okay, the dividend that is coming to people can increase. Okay, so the expected returns is such that within the first 2 years, we can see people being able to get something because they can see the chart, the flow, and the financials of how things are growing, and we can increase our returns from year 3 as more properties are rented out. So I believe that by the 4th year, we should be stabilizing and we should be having substantial returns because we'll have a diverse portfolio at that time. This is like um, a vision, a target to say that, look, it is time to grow, right? Because if you look at it critically, my dear brothers and sisters on this call, if you don't do something about it now, right, 5 years will come and you'll still be where you are. That's just the truth. That's the funny thing about life. If you don't take decision, now nothing happens. Until you decide, it will not happen. And that's how we're going to grow. And by doing this, by being in this club, you will have also grown in financial knowledge, financial education, right? That will help you to also replicate the same for yourself because you're now part of a big group. Yeah. And that's all this thing we continue to grow. So let's jump to the immediate investment opportunity that is available at the very moment. Remember at the beginning, I told us that based on research that has already been done by a couple of organizations, right, we see that there are opportunities in some cities within the United Kingdom. Now, according to insight from the CBRE, the Knight Frank, the PricewaterhouseCoopers, and Oxford Economics, there are 12 key markets where property investment is top-notch in the UK at the moment. So those 12 areas are this list here. The first one is Sheffield, which is in the Midlands. Sheffield is a city in regeneration with housing crunch. We have the second one, Edinburgh, which is the capital of Scotland. That's where I am. I'm in Scotland, but I'm not in Edinburgh. I'm in Dundee, which is just about an hour, 15 minutes to Edinburgh. So it also has a resilient rental growth because it's the capital of Scotland. We also have Manchester. Manchester is really booming because of massive activity going on around Manchester. That's why you see that, okay, some people will not live in Manchester. They will go and live maybe in Bolton or surrounding cities because there is heavy demand because of the housing deficit in Manchester. We also have Birmingham. It's an economy powerhouse. You will know that Birmingham is central to many cities around the middle of the England. Birmingham has an airport and it has a high population of people. So if you are in Coventry, you are in Leicester, you are in Warwick, they are all places around Birmingham. And so it's a good place to pitch tent there. York is also very good. Um, Trains, so many things pass through that place. It's a good commercial hub also. It's a knowledge-driven economy with housing challenges. And of course, the jagaban of them all is London. London can never go wrong. But if you are able to find something around London that makes commuting to the city center really nice, London is a global icon for investment any day. And you have Newcastle. Newcastle, I lived in Newcastle between 05 and 06. Newcastle is a booming region in the Northeast. So many things are coming up in Newcastle now, and there is influx of different people, different businesses are coming up there. We also have Oxford, which is the center for the best education. And so you can be sure that if you have highbrow, well-maintained property, people that are senior students or even what do I call it, wealthy students would rather live in a very posh apartment than live in just any place. So that is why Oxford is also very good. You have Leeds, which is another market with a promise. You have Liverpool, is a cultural hub with growth potential, and we have Belfast in Northern Ireland. That is a very good place in Northern Ireland. And we also have Glasgow. I was in Glasgow for Halls. I think that was in 2022, and I saw what is happening in Glasgow. Recently, I was in Blackpool for a short holiday, and I saw that so many properties are in below market value in that place. I mean, in fact, they're actually dropping in value. The only thing I see about Blackpool is that is a mixture of two things. Is either you consider the seasonal, um, I mean, what do they call this thing now? Tourist attraction, or you try and find property that is close to Preston, because Preston is where the university is, and there is only one university in that place. So if you have an HMO around the university area, then there is market there. So these are places where there are immediate opportunities. Okay. So what's the minimum investment that we're proposing for the property investment club? We're proposing a minimum of £1,000. Now, why is this the case? We believe that if we are to do something that really makes sense, then we should go with a good sacrifice, which is 1,000. And with 1,000, if 100 people go with 1,000, you have 100,000. And if two people combine, like let's say husband and wife say that 500, that should be fine. So it is possible. So that's why we put it at 1,000 minimum. And you can have a block. That means multiple of 1,000. So for example, let's say we identify a property opportunity, we do the due diligence, and we see that, okay, this thing is about 80K, right? Somebody can decide that he wants to have 5 lots there. So 5 lots would mean 5 times 1,000, which would be 5,000. Another person can say that, okay, I want to have 2,000 in this one. Or I want to say I want to do 10,000. So by the time we combine resources, remember, the goal is this. We are not going to, any property we acquire, we are not going to acquire it on mortgage initially. We're going to buy cash down, because with that, you are guaranteed of getting your money back once you upgrade the value. And I'll show us how this thing works. So members have the option to invest more than the minimum amount, increasing their share profits. It's just like if you have ever operated in the cooperative in Nigeria before, you notice that people have different levels, just like we say that the fingers are not equal, right? It does not matter the size of the finger. Everybody has dividend. So you see people that will have 1 million, some people will have 500,000, people will have 200,000. People will still get their dividend based on what they have brought to the table. Okay. So for example, if you look at this scenario, if you have 100 members, each investing £1,000, will have £100,000 to invest. And the initial capital allows the corp to acquire and refurbish multiple properties and generating rental income in the process. So as I round up this initial session, I want to show us something quickly here before I open the floor for questions. Just a minute. I want to show us something here. Where's this thing? Yeah. So let's say, for example, can we see my screen, please? I'm showing website now.
Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So there is this. For some of us that are on the for all of us that are on the call, in case you want to be having a way to monitor things yourself, there is this application. I don't know whether it's available on iOS store. I use Android. So for Android, it is called Cal Mortgage Calculator. I'll drop that in the chat. It's called
It's on iOS.
It's on iOS. Oh, very good. So if you download, I've just typed it on the. So I want to show us how this thing works. I'm not using it on this online. I'm just using an online calculator here, but I have that one on my phone. So if you download that application, Car Mortgage Calculator, it gives you an idea of how these things work, okay? So let's say, for example, look at this thing here. There are two types of mortgage available in the market. There is the repayment and there is the interest only. A repayment means that you are paying both the interest that the bank is charging or the lender is charging plus the capital of that house or the property that you buy. So usually it's better to do repayment. Interest only means that you are not paying the capital. So if anything happens, you are not the owner of the house. Okay. So now let's say, for example, we have a value of 100K. Let's say we have done refurbishing, you have done revaluation, and it's now valued at 100,000. Now, at 100,000, there is something called LTV, loan to value, LTV. LTV is the value of the money that the bank will release based on the value of the property. So let's say, for example, a property was obtained for 70K and you spend 5,000 to upgrade it. You now have 75,000 in the property. Now, the new value of the property now 100,000 because they now valued it up. You have added value to it, it's now 100K when you got it. Now, when you now go to the bank will give you 75%. They usually give 75%. Rarely will you see 80%. So if it's 75%, it means that the deposit that is supposed to be on that house or the equity that you have is 25%, right? So that is the deposit. And let's say you want to do it for 25 years. And this is like the current rate now for most this thing. If you are lucky, you see 5.0. So if you now calculate this now, you see this. Now, this thing shows 449.44. That means, let's say it's about 450 pounds. Now, by the time you are done paying over 25 years, this is how much you will pay, 134,830. Now, you see the breakdown here. It says the capital is 75,000. The interest that is paid is this. Now, this is where I want us to focus on. Imagine that this house was a 3-bedroom. Even if it's a 2-bedroom, the mortgage is 449. And the bank will give you 75%, right? This is 75% they will give. They will give you 75,000. Remember, you bought it for 70K and you spent 5,000 on it. By the time they release this 75,000, the money is out because you bought it cash down. That 75,000 is now tax-free money. It has returned the investment. It has returned the money that is spent. Sometimes it may not be like that. It may be that you spent 80K and the money that is given is 75,000. It's still fair enough. It means that it's just 5,000 that is left in the property. 75,000 in out. You can still go and use 75,000 to go and get another property. And this is how it works. Okay. So by the time this 75 is out, go and look for another one and rinse. And that is how the process goes. Now, I want to show us two different things here. Now, if somebody were to go and buy this property on mortgage, the person has to draw 25%, which is 25,000 pounds. The challenge with mortgage is that you cannot refinance immediately. You can only refinance after 6 months. So it makes the process of rinsing longer. However, if you buy it cash down, once you do it cash down and you do the upgrade and everything, you are now going to the bank with a house that you have all your equity in it. You're only telling them that they should now revalue it and they give you a new value. Of course, we will have done our own bit to get a surveyor to do the new value of the house, right? When they do the value, most times the bank will reduce it by a few percent. Sometimes they will agree with the value because they want to make money. But whatever the case is, can never be below 5% of what the value have done. And once that is done, you get your money out. And so the moment the money is out, you have your money to go and reinvest in another place, which makes it faster. So if somebody is fast, if the renovation is fast and everything, the same money that is used to get one property can be used on 6 properties within 6 months. And that is how this thing can grow fast. Okay, I hope that makes the explanation clear. So before I open the floor for questions, I'm conscious of time. I want to show you some of the things that we need to look out for when we are doing some of these things. Now, remember I said that from the research that has been done, right, we see here that the places where there are properties that make sense are in this place. So let's take, for example, I want somebody to make a choice. I don't want to pick myself. I want us to do real life search here now. Can somebody make a choice for us out of these 12? Which city should we check?
York.
We should check York. Okay, let's go to York. So you go, the very nice platform to do this thing is Rightmove, not Zoopla. Zoopla is only good if you want to find house to rent. But if you want to do this analysis, the best place is York. So let's look at York in North Yorkshire, something that is for sale. And we say this place alone. Now, we don't want to get something that is more than 100,000. Yeah? And we just go ahead, find properties. Yeah? Now, this is 17 results that are out here. Let me say you should start from the lowest. Yeah? So if you look at this thing, it's starting from the lowest. The lowest here is 56,000, 65, 68. Now let's look at this one. This one is an end of, let's just go there. It says it is an end of terrace. End of terrace means that it's like a corner piece. That's what it means. It is the end of the terrace. That means there is no house beside it. Yeah. Now, what I usually look out for first is to see whether they have provided the floor plan. The reason why you need the floor plan is to see whether it is possible for you to modify some things after getting council permission. So let's open the floor plan and see what is happening here. Let me try and maximize this thing. I hope this thing is big enough for us to see. Can we see this thing?
Yes.
Yes, we
Yeah.
can.
Now, if you look at this floor plan here, let's look at this thing. Oh. This one has, now, this is, can you see here? This is ground floor. This is ground floor on the left and first floor on the right. Now, the ground floor has a lounge and dinner. We have the kitchen here. At the top, we have this bedroom and this bedroom. There is a bathroom and toilet in them, as in between them. That is at the top. Now, for some of us who have been here, you know what they call open plan kitchen. That means the kitchen is at a corner, right? And it also has the living room there. So when you see this thing, where does this thing enter from? Let's say they enter the house somewhere here. I don't know where they enter from, or they enter here. This kitchen is almost the size of the room at the top. Sorry, let me go back here. Where you come back. This kitchen here is almost the size of the room at the top. So this kitchen can become a small room actually. And this place can be turned to kitchen and living room. So this house here has the potential of being turned to a 3-bedroom with the right planning permission. This is how a house can be upgraded. Yeah? Now, if you notice, you see that the piping works is around this place. Yeah? So if one wants to do this thing, one can decide that, okay, can I carve out something like a small bathroom or something here? Because if you go to one of these hotels, Sleepers, Premier Inn, any of those hotels, if you notice the kind of bathroom toilet that is inside those rooms, if anybody here has gone to Sleepers or Premier Inn, you will notice that the size of the bathroom and toilet is usually very small and everything is inside. So the same way you can customize in this place. And so by the time you turn an apartment that is 2-bedroom to 3-bedroom, the value will increase. Look at this. Look at the living room. It's very big. This area, where that dining area can become a corner kitchen, like an open plan kitchen, and the remaining can be the living room. Can you see this place? This place is big enough for a kitchen, and that's how the thing is, because it's an HMO apartment. Look at how big this kitchen is. Are we seeing this thing here? So this is how, for one to see the thing that makes sense, one must first of all see whether they give you floor plan. And if they don't give you floor plan, you can relate. Look at how big the rooms are. Very big. You can carve out bathroom and toilet somewhere around this place. And that's how you upgrade. See how big this place is. Can you see? A place that is as big as this. Look at the living room, the bathroom and toilet there. Very big. Can you see? So many things can be modified. It has back for extension, right? And what is the value? See the value. The value is 56. Even though they say shared ownership, these are things that is possible with property for upgrade. Let's try and find another one, right? Let's look at look at this one here. It says a fantastic ground floor flat offer for sale, 50% shared ownership. So what this one means is that they want you to own 50% of it, right? Now, it has 1 bedroom and 1 bathroom and toilet. But let's look at the floor plan. Look at this floor plan. Can you imagine a room that is as big and large as the living room? And look at how big the kitchen is. Look at how big all these places. This is a very good example of a house that can be modified. So in this kind of scenario, there can be a negotiation that let us upgrade the value of this thing and you get something that makes sense. Yeah? And this is how these things are done. So you can see that there are properties that are actually below 100. Yeah? Look at this one. This one is 85%. At 70%, that means almost everything is there. Now, let me show you something that we need to also look at. If you come down to this place and see where they put recently sold on offer, if you check under offer, can you see the value of the houses there? 155,000, 159, 165,000. Yeah? If somebody has a calculator in that place, let's even check the one that is 150. If you have 150K, 150,000, 150,000 times 0.75. 75% of 150K is 112,500. And they are offering 70% of this shared ownership at 85. That tells you that this is below the value of the market, minus 85,000, 27,500 below the market. So now imagine if you now upgrade this property. Look at how big this place is. If you now upgrade this apartment, you can imagine the kind of value that it will come. And this is how scouting and trying to see a place that makes sense comes. I hope I'm making sense towards this night. I would like to open the chat for discussions or questions now. Okay. So let me stop Let me stop sharing. Where is my share button? Just a moment, please. So I can stop sharing now. So the floor is open for questions and comments so that we don't take too much of time. Some people may need to go and sleep and get ready for early momo. That's the presentation this night. We've shared the vision, we've shared the opportunity and how we want to navigate. All right, over to you, friends. Let me get my water. Do we have any questions, anybody? Okay, what are the risks involved? I can see a question here. Thank you very much for that. What are the risks involved? Now, the risk that is involved in this thing is one, if a policy by government changes the way things are run in a particular city. For example, there are local councils that will not allow you to change the structure. There are some that will say that they are changing the policy on landlords. That's the only thing that can be a risk here. In terms of investment, in terms of what you are putting in, right? Like I mentioned before, everything is clear. For example, like this one now, when we see the opportunity, we'll break down all the dynamics for us. There is actually one of the property companies in Scotland here. I'm coming. I want to show us that one. They actually do the job of getting the breakdown for you, all the back-end information, and before you know what is happening, you have the full details. So, trying to get their website. Just a moment, please. So that's the only risk that is involved in this thing. I hope I've answered your question, Nengi. Any other question, please? Is everybody clear on this thing? The house is a bit quiet.
Hello, sir.
Yes, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Well done, sir.
Thank you
you
very
for
much.
your thorough research and the insights you've given to us, sir.
Thank you.
Sir, my question is, what happens when a property is oversubscribed? I mean, when you call for the purchase of a property and at the end of the day, it is oversubscribed. Let's say, for instance, it is 100,000 and at the end of the day, after all members have contributed, the money is more than 100,000.
Okay,
I mean,
very good question.
£100,000. So what is going to be the ideology behind that?
Very good question. So in life, right, you win some, you lose some. That's what life is all about. For example, I remember when I was going to get where I'm living now, right? The property came out, very attractive property. I mean, very big room. Everything was very nice. And immediately I made a request. And the agent said that there are 20 people who want this property. I told the person I am getting it. I said, whatever whatever you have to say, I am getting this property. And the person said, okay. I was like chasing them back to back until I got it. Sometimes you submit something to landlord and landlord will say that, oh, this is the person I want. The same thing with seller also. There was a time that I think that was about 2 years, is it 2 or 3 years ago? We tried to take a shot at property. And what I observed was that based on personal experience, it's all how you're able to deal with the person who is representing. That means the selling agent that is representing the seller. How you're able to negotiate with them. Because that time, I remember this property, I think it was about 220,000. And what happened that time? They said that nearest, I mean, offer above 220. And we said the maximum that we can add is 5,000. And the agent was trying to push for more. I said that if you can't take 225, then go and sell it to whoever we want to sell it to. At the end of the day, the agent came back and said that, yes, the sellers have agreed to that particular value. So what I notice in the market is this. It's all about the power of negotiation. You cannot be gullible. You cannot be somebody that's like a novice. You have to know how to negotiate. Because if you don't know how to negotiate, that selling agent wants to make money. They have commission that they make from selling a property. So the higher the value they're able to sell it, the more commission they're able to make. So sometimes it is not the seller that is pushing for increase in price. It is actually that selling agent that is pushing for price. So it's about knowing the dynamics. So if we negotiate for one and it doesn't go, we'll move on to the next one. There are several properties. As you can see, look at what we search in York alone. There are 17 properties there, under 100. There are several. And you can see there are 12 cities that are there. So we will not only be, it's not like putting our hope in one egg, in one basket. It will be spread and we'll explore. I hope that
All right,
makes
sir.
sense.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
No, it does not. Last thing, but let me answer that question. There is a question in the chat. It says that, did you say it takes 6 months to do refinance even when it is purchased outrightly? No, it is when you purchase on mortgage. Let's say, for example, a house is 100,000 now, and you now go and raise 25,000 as 25% deposit. That is when it will take you about 6 months before you can put it on refinance. But if when the house is 100,000, you got it for 100,000, you bought it cash down, that means no mortgage on it. You now upgrade it. Maybe you spend about 12 or 15,000 or 20,000 on it, and they went to revalue and now 150K. You can get, it is that time that you are just doing the mortgage. You are not doing it when you bought it. You have just done it when the new value is there. That is why it is better that is that approach that is taken. So if, for example, the process of getting a house was about a month or thereabout, because it usually takes about 4 weeks, all these underwriters and everything, when they finish. The deal is now sealed, and renovation is about 2-3 weeks or a month, depending on what needs to be done. So that's about 2 months, right? And you now put it back to the process. So once that is done, yeah, that is the new value, and the bank will now do that. So you take your money out and you can look for another one again, and that's how it is done. I hope that answers the question. In this maiden edition of the oh, we'll run another before this one. How many years have you been property? Oh, great. So this is the second webinar that we're having, Admin iFit. And how many years have you been in property investment? Oh, property investment is over 10 years, both within the UK and outside the UK. I got my very first property as an individual, right, when I was just about 26 years old. So in terms of property investment, is not today. I hope that helps admin fit. Any other question, please? Do we have any other question? So we are 3 minutes past.
Sorry, sir. When are we like when is this likely to start?
Good.
Yeah.
So this webinar, like I mentioned in the minimum is 1,000. So we are with this webinar. The next thing is the legal framework that we are setting up. So we're registering the platform so that everybody knows that this is registered. It's not going to a personal, there is no personal account here. You understand what I'm trying to say? So it is registered and it will be proper registration, okay? And once that is done, then we have a legal framework to run with as a registered cooperative within the United Kingdom. That is only when that we now say that now we are committing to investment. I hope that is clear. What are the plans on ground so people safe with putting? Yeah, so that answers the question also. The question that Fadora B asked and Olasimbo asked, that is the plan. Because I believe in transparency. I have a name, and I'm only doing this because I believe that together we can achieve a lot. So once the legal framework is done and the cooperative is registered, then it will now be easier for everyone to get on board and be able to commit to different lots that they want to do. We believe that we'll be able to do that in this month of August. Any other question? We're working towards doing that this month of August. All right. Seems there is no more question. So it's 5 minutes past the hour. I don't want to go beyond the hour. I want to thank everyone for coming online this night. I will upload the video to my YouTube channel later when this thing is compressed by Zoom. Let me just show us my YouTube channel so you'll be able to know the link to go when it's out. Where is this thing? Just a moment, please. So this is the YouTube channel. Very good question. So different councils have different regimes. There are some that is very straightforward. Like for example, you have asked how long does it take for approval if we are doing refurbishment. Now, refurbishment can take different mode. It can be that you are just doing up a rundown property, which is like you are maintaining the initial plan. That one does not need much approval. The approval that we're talking about is if you say you want to change the initial plan. So let's say, for example, you are changing it from a 2-bed to 3-bed, or you change it from 1-bed to 2-bed. Approval usually takes between 2 to 6 weeks, depending on some factors that are determined by the council, okay, and depending on the city where you are in. The second thing is that in terms of expertise, of course, remember I mentioned from the beginning that we're going to be engaging experts in the process. You only use people who know how it is done so that you will not need to reinvent the wheel. So that is some of the things that we'll be doing, engaging the expertise of people who know how it is done so that the process, the cycle time will be faster. Absolutely. The truth of the matter is that the beauty of this group is that we have accountants in this group, we have business people in this group, we have different people with expertise in this group. And so by all means, every expertise is welcome. It will reduce the charges we'll be paying to other professionals that are outside the loop. So by all means, very welcome, please. Thank you very much for that contribution. Admin iFeed, what's your name? If you want to drop your name directly to me, that's fine. I'll appreciate that. Can connect later. Okay. Okay, thank you very much for that. So I will upload this. Oh, awesome, awesome, awesome. Perfect. Perfect. Where is your city? Which city are you? Pontefract. Okay, all right. Okay, nice. No problem. Last time I was in Leeds was, I think, 2012. Came to Leeds, yeah. That was the last time I came to Leeds. Okay. Thank you so much, everyone. I really appreciate your engagement this night. I will upload the video for those who want to go over it again, and I will keep everyone informed on the progress with the legal framework and the registration so that we have a proper framework to run. I hope we enjoyed this time together this night. And of course, you can always reach out to me on the platform or send a DM to me directly. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining this night. Do have a gracious new week ahead, and bye for now.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Bye.
sir.
You're welcome. Bye for now. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.